Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you some new products from Sephora. These are a lot of the things that I just recently hauled for you, and today was my first impression on a lot of these items. This is the completed look. Let's just say it was a little bit of a journey to get to where we are. I'm feeling a little bit more confident now than I was a few minutes ago. But let's just go ahead and jump into the video. I'm just going to go through in order of how I applied each item, talk a little bit about it, and give you my first impressions. If that sounds good to you, just keep watching. Today I started fresh. As soon as I got out of the shower, I came down here and I was going to do my self-tan. On self-tan days, I have to kind of do things in a different order than I normally would. So I came down here and I went ahead and put on a little bit of skincare because I dermaplaned after I got out of the shower and I needed some hydration. First thing that I used was the new Fenty Skin Cherry Dub BHA toner. And as you all will see, it's just a nice liquidy toner. So it comes out almost like water. This does smell heavily of cherry. So if you do not like a cherry scent, you might not prefer this toner. Now, I think it did a good job. I mean, it does what a toner's supposed to do, I would say. But the only thing I was kind of disappointed was on the packaging. So this one's just a typical lid that you just take off. On my other one, as you'll see right here, I was showing you, I was kind of disappointed because I prefer that style. So that's the only kind of negative I would say about it. But, you know, this is something that I'll have to keep testing and let you know. I did knock off a little points for the scent in the cap. What I decided to do today was just go very minimal on my skincare because I wanted to try this product out and I wasn't sure how it was going to react with skincare. So this is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum, Mattifying and Priming Face Serum. So I just went in with the toner, I let it sink in for a little bit, and then I applied this. This is just the sample that I got. It was 100 points. And I'm glad that I purchased, or well, I guess it is a purchase. I used 100 points, but I'm glad I got the little sample to try out because I have wanted to buy that so many times and talked myself out of it. And I'm kind of glad I did because my first impressions were just not that good. So as you'll see here in this clip, I applied it. I did like a whole dropper. However much is in there initially is how much I used on my face. So I dropped a little on each section of my face, rubbed it in, and then also kind of pressed it into my skin and let it sit. And yes, I did shake this product very well. Before we move on to the next product, I wanted to insert this clip so that you guys could see what happened just a few moments after I applied the serum. I wanted to show you something. I was getting ready to take off my eye masks, and I noticed this spot on my nose. I tried to wipe it off, and it didn't come off, so I was like, that's weird. So I'm looking around on my skin, and I don't notice it anywhere else, but right here on my nose, there's like a clump of what I imagine is like powder, because I'm able to scrape it off, and it feels like powder. I don't know if I just neglected that area when I was rubbing it in and pressing it in, or if I didn't shake it up well enough. So far, like I said, I don't see it anywhere else, but I wanted to go ahead and mention that before I continue on. Then I put on the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Melt Mask, and I got it in the shade Icing. This is an okay product. I think for $27, I was hoping it would be a little bit more exciting, I guess, is how I would put it. It's just kind of like an okay product. It was very nice on the lips. It wasn't overly sticky, but it was enough grip to it that you felt like it wasn't going to just slide around. The only thing I was kind of disappointed about was the shade. I thought it would be a little bit more pigmented, a little bit more, I don't know, just kind of juicy on the lips. Not bad, like I said, just not exciting. With that little bit of skincare prep, I went ahead and did myself tan today. I used the Dolce Glow. This is something that I purchased from QVC. You cannot get it at Sephora, I don't believe. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on screen. But I've never seen this at Sephora. I wanted to talk a little bit about the self-tan today because I want you all to know that later on in the video, when it comes to complexion, a lot of it is going to be thrown off by my self-tan. I exfoliated all the leftover self-tan that I had from when I first applied it on April 2nd. And when I did, I only applied it to my arms and like my neck and chest. That's the only place that I had put it. So the rest of my body was super pale. So today I applied my self-tan. It takes a while for it to sink in. Once it does, I think everything will be fine. It caused a little bit of issues when it came to complexion, but we will not fault the products because of that. I wanted to try this out. This was also a sample that I got in like I think it was in the Lunar New Year sample bag. And it is from Sephora, so I wanted to try it out today just to see if it's something that I would recommend for you guys to purchase from the sale. This is the Sephora Shape and Set Clear Brow Gel, and you get 2.5 mLs of product in this little sample. Now, when you open it up, the spoolie is just like the Patrick Ta. It's got the same type of applicator on it. And as you can see, it has this like blue, like a light blue, almost white appearance. This reminds me a lot of the ABH Brow Freeze gel, very similar to that. It doesn't want to dry down, and I will say once it did dry down, you'll see it didn't really do much. And I was afraid to keep piling it on and trying to build it up because I was afraid it would cause problems. So I just kind of tossed this to the side and said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use my Rare Beauty, because when it comes to a brow gel, I would hands down recommend this one only. This would be the number one that I would recommend to anyone, whether you have sparse brows, very stubborn coarse brows, thick brows. It will do wonders for anyone. I really love this product, and I wanted to go ahead and just use it in this video so that way you could see there is a difference. Like, yes, this could be good for some people, I would say, but for me, it's going to be this one. Moving right along, we did eye primer. So that's the next step in my routine. Always, I go ahead and prime my eyes, and I used the Rare Beauty. This is like the Always an Optimist something eye primer. I'll put it on screen. This is a beautiful product. I've loved it for years. I just used it in my last video, which is a full face of favorites, and I decided to throw it in today because I didn't have a new one to try, and there's several Rare Beauty products in today's video, so might as well. My eye look today, I was so excited to try the new Divina Cosmetics Divine Neutrals. This is the first time I've tried anything from this brand. I know you can't get these at Sephora, but I wanted to throw them in today's video and show you that you can get single shadows and also have a helping palette like this. And this you can get at Sephora. I'm not sure if it's sold out. I'll put it on screen if it is, but this is from Huda Beauty, and you can buy her products at Sephora. This is her newest release, the Icy Nude palette, and supposedly her last palette. So what I did today is I just used this as my helping palette. That's what I call it. I needed a few mattes to do like a transition work and under the brow bone. Used a little bit of these shades for my outer V and for eyeliner to smudge out my eyeliner. So this was my helping palette. It's beautiful. And I wanted to mention, while I was applying these, I was like, you know what? These remind me of Huda Beauty's formula, but these are softer and just easier to blend. They're not as chunky. They're very smooth compared to Huda, but they give the same effect on the eyelid, maybe even a little bit more reflective. These Divina Cosmetics eyeshadows, you guys, I'm so impressed. If you didn't watch my haul, I would highly recommend going to see me swatch these, and just, I'll do one for you. But I just did my self-tan, so it's just going to be on the palm of my hand. But I want you to see, I used Velvet Sin all over my lid today, and here I used a little bit of Blood and Cocoa. So those two are on my eyes right now. I don't want to swatch those, but they're very pretty. I want you to see this Sinful Lace shade. And then, I mean, you guys, it's stunning. It's like a silver, but it has a little green shift to it. So here it is on my finger. It's got this gorgeous green gold kind of base with silver reflect, and it changes depending on which way the light hits. Love it. And then the other ones I have are Crimson Mocha, which is the one I was really wanting to use today, but I knew I was wearing purple, so I was trying to keep it with like pinky purple. So this is the one I really want to use, and I'm just very excited to. I can't wait. But this one's Crimson Mocha. It's going to look a lot like my nail polish. Look at that. I'll go ahead and do the other one that I didn't use. It's called Moonlit, and it's just a silver, and this was an existing shade that they already had in their line. These two are in the new neutrals. But let me do Moonlit right in the center, just so you can see. It's just like a true silver. So there you can see the difference between Sinful Lace, Moonlit in the center, and then Crimson Mocha. For eyeliner today, I used the Sephora Retractable Eyeliner in the shade Matte Brown. This was also listed in my favorites video, but I didn't have a new one to try, so this is what we used, and it's just a classic. I love it. The shade Matte Brown is my favorite. All right, next up we used the primer, and I also did not have a brand new primer to try out, so I just used the Cali Ray So Blown Clean Blurring Primer with collagen and peptides. This was also in my favorites, and technically it is a newer product because I just purchased it again. So this is like my backup of like 3 times over. I know this is at least my third, maybe my fourth, and I'll always have this in my collection. That's how much I love it, and I swear by it. So we'll see if it is able to hold up with the products we use today. I'm curious to see. Eyebrow pencil that I would definitely recommend from Sephora is the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I have this one in the shade 3. 3.5 also works for me, so that's what I used today to create these brows. And I will say, I was having a little bit of issues with it, and I don't know if it was because of that Sephora brow gel, but I never have issues. And when I say issues, it was very minor, like right through here. I was having a hard time getting it to stick down when typically it's super easy. So I have a feeling it has something to do with that brow gel, but I just wanted to mention it because I did experience it. I do not believe it's this product at all because I love this so much, and I've used it for years. This brow looks really good, if I do say so myself. Moving on to complexion. This is where things started to get a little sideways, I guess. I was so excited to use this, the Fenty Beauty, the Ease Drop Blur and Smooth Skin Tint Stick, whatever. So it's like a skin tint blur stick. I bought it in the shade 9, which I'm going to put it on screen for you because I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be like a light medium neutral. When I swiped this on, I did it like right here, and it was orange, just straight up orange. And I was like, let me just try it. So I did a couple swipes, blended it in, and first of all, it didn't really want to blend. I could still see the stripes where I put it on my skin. And second of all, it just was not right as far as the shade goes. So we will try this again because I wasn't able to make this work today. I think once I have a self-tan, or of course when I'm able to go out in the sun whenever, spring decides to get here, this will work. But right now, this was just not it. We'll see once my self-tan develops if I'm able to try this again soon. But as of right now, it's a no for me. Because that didn't work and I wanted to keep up with my Sephora theme today, I went ahead and got something out of my collection that I'm not even sure I tried on camera with you all. And this is something that I did recently purchase from Sephora. I had it years ago and I decided I wanted it back in my collection. And I prefer this more in the summertime. The Dior Backstage Face and Body. I have mine in 2.5 in. Now I will say this is my shade that matches me the best year round, but I would say right now without my self-tan I'm like a 2 in probably. 2.5 in is usually perfect, but like I said, I just scrubbed all of my self-tan off and reapplied it today, and it's a gradual tan, so it will take time to develop. So I had to blend this down my neck and make it work. I used to love this, and I think I still like it, and I still would recommend it for a certain skin type. For me, I have large pores, and I wouldn't say I have the most texture I've ever seen, but I do have large pores and texture that I usually like to cover or blur out. My Cali Ray usually blurs my skin perfectly, and then if I put a foundation on like the Estee Lauder or the Clinique that I just showed you, they completely smooth my skin out and it lasts for a long time. The Dior has a little bit more of a subtle radiance to it. It's not glittery, it's not shimmery, it just gives you a healthy glow. And what that does for someone with my skin type is it kind of just sits and makes it look like it's sitting on top of your skin because it's enhancing all of your pores. However, when I do powder, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful finish, and from afar, it looks like I just have beautiful, healthy skin. I don't have anything bad to say about it other than it's probably best for people with dry, normal skin. Oily skin, I don't think you're going to love it. I'm not an expert or anything, but from what I've seen, most people that have oily skin do suffer from large pores too. So just keep that in mind. If you have large pores, oily skin, it's probably just not for you, but I do recommend it for anyone else. So that's what I used today. And the other reason I pulled it out is because I've been so tempted to buy the new Givenchy skincare serum foundation, whatever it's called. It's like the Serum Glow foundation. I've seen so many reviews and everyone says it's beautiful, blurring, and I'm like, wait, hold up. I've got so many foundations. I don't need another one. Spoiler alert, I have a restock of my Clinique coming from Sephora because why not get it on sale? And then I purchased another foundation that I'm going to not spoil the surprise, but there's another one coming. I'm so excited to try. But then after I placed that order, I was seeing all these reviews for the Givenchy and I'm like, oh, I've got a couple more days to make my decision. Once I got the foundation applied, I decided I'm going to try the new Tarte Shape Tape Blur Concealer Stick. And I bought it in the shade 22N. It's a little bit light. Came with this silly little brush. So you'll see me apply it, and I thought, you know what? I'll use it to brighten under my eyes. I was kind of like tempting with fate here. I was like, okay, I'm going to put it like right here, but I'm not going to take it up underneath my eyelashes where I do crease a little bit. I'm just going to keep it down low and we'll see how it blends. So I started and just used this little brush to try to blend it out. Well, first of all, this brush is terrible. It's very cheap and it did not want to blend the product. So I eventually figured that out and was like, you know what? I'm going to pull out my Sephora brush. The Sephora Pro 71 concealer brush. This, if you can get it 30% off, I highly recommend it. It's just like a little tiny kitten paw brush. This one and the 47, I have both of them in my collection and I would recommend either of them. They're really good. So I decided to pull this out, and where this one's a little bit smaller, it takes a little while longer, I guess. If you're in a hurry, this wouldn't be what I would suggest, but it got the job done. This is a very, I don't know. I was going to say it's like a unique product, but it's really not. It reminds me a lot of the Dior foundation stick, but they're marketing this as a concealer. Like, it feels like the same exact formula to me. So I decided, I'm going to blend that out. And then I decided to put a little bit, under here, brighten up the center of my face. And I will say it blended out nicely. And I don't have anything really bad to say about it. I just don't know if I would ever trust it fully under my eyes. But we'll get to that. Next thing I did was the Rare Beauty Liquid Contour in the shade Solace. I have been obsessed with this product ever since I first tried it. I love it so much, and you'll see in the application that it just blends beautifully. My favorite way to blend it is this Morphe contour brush, M243. The way this is shaped, it just hugs your cheek. You can use it flipped up, however you want it. It's just perfection in my opinion. I don't have any issues with the Rare Beauty. I've seen reviews and people saying that they don't like it and that it's not pigmented enough. It just kind of blends away. I don't think so. I actually really, really love this product. So I hope by seeing this today, if you're one of those people that was a little scared of it or thought it's not going to work out because you've seen those reviews too, just know this is actually really, really good. And it's affordable. You get a ton of product. And you best believe I'm going to keep using it up. And I'll probably repurchase. I really, really like this. I decided to use my Cali Ray Hideaway Brightening and Hydrating Under Eye Serum Concealer Corrector. And I have it in the shade Golden Hour. I love this product so much. I usually use a little bit of this just to kind of brighten up the inner corner where I have a little bit of blue and purple veins. And honest to God, I wish I would have just used this today. I can use this by itself and have a nice under eye all day long. But because I was trying to try out new products, I wasn't sure if I'd ever tried this on camera. This is the Say Slip Tint Concealer, and I have it in the shade 6. I purchased this a few months back and I used it one time and I hated it. Hated it. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it with the Cali Ray and maybe, just maybe, it'll work out for me today. You're going to see this later on in the video anyway, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. It's a no. My under eyes immediately crease. Before I could even move on to other steps, I was noticing this creasing. So this one is a definite no for me. I don't know if it would work well for anyone, but in my opinion, it would only work well for people without any creasing. So little teenagers and into their 20s maybe, but if you have creases under your eyes, just this one's not it. And also, shade 6 was a little bit darker than I thought it would be. Just saying. And because I knew that it had creased on me in the past, I decided to let it sit for a little bit and go ahead and move on to my cream blush. And that way I could blend out the creases that I knew were going to happen and then hopefully set them down, and that would be the end of it. I was so excited to try these products. This is from Rare Beauty. It is the Matte Bouncy Blush, and I bought mine in the shade Hope. This is stunning. The formula is super squishy, like it's not like a Super Shock or anything, but you can press it and probably put your fingerprint in there. I don't want to do that, but you probably could. I feel like it was very similar to the Polite Society powder blush sticks. I feel like it was giving the same effect on my skin. I really like the shade. I really like the formula. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's beautiful, and I'll probably pick up another shade before it's over. I really liked it. Now this is the Bobbi Brown Pot Rouge Velvet Matte for lips and cheeks. So it's their Pot Rouge, but they've got a velvety matte formula now. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to try both of these. I've got more blushes that I could have used in today's video, but these are the two that I know for sure you can get at Sephora because I just got them. This is the shade Tea Rose. And this is like everything I would ever want in a blush. It's stunning. I love the way it went on my skin. It just blended itself out. But I will say the shade was a little bit lighter and a little bit more nude than Hope. So what I ended up doing was just kind of mixing. I started out with Hope on this side from Rare Beauty, and then this side was Bobbi Brown. And I ended up just adding a layer of Bobbi Brown on this side and a layer of Rare Beauty on this side just to kind of balance it out. It's beautiful. I'm loving my blush today. I'm very blushy. And I'm loving it. So then after I blended out the blush, I decided to go ahead and set my under eyes, and I used the Charlotte Tilbury powder. Shade 1 Fair. You all know how much I love that powder, and it usually does a phenomenal job at setting my under eyes. I can use it alone. I can use it with other powders. There's never been an issue with it. It's really good powder. Seen a couple reviews on this product now. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Spray. What I decided to do was go ahead and spray this while my face was still wet, and then I used it again after I used powders. So before I set my face down completely, I did this, and I didn't notice any blurring whatsoever. Honestly, I felt like I could see my pores and everything more because I used quite a bit, and it took a little bit to dry down. And I also had these little splotches all over that finally dried down and went away, but I don't know. I shook it like really, really well. Now, here's the other thing I wanted to mention in this video. I've seen other people's reviews, and when they're shaking it, it sounds like there's a little ball in theirs. Mine doesn't have that. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if I should like open it and try to see if I can fix it or just leave it be, but I don't know. I don't even think I can get it open. Good God. I can't get this open even if I wanted to. So I don't know. I've shaken it like crazy and there's still no ball sound in mine. So I don't know what that's about. I've tried to read the box and everything and I can't figure it out. I went ahead and set my face with the Fenty Beauty powder because where I was originally going to film was the Fenty Beauty blurring stick foundation. I thought, let's pull this powder out. I haven't used it in a while, and it's available at Sephora. I use the shade 2 Butter. I love this powder. It's beautiful, and I highly recommend it. So next thing is the Haus Labs Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer. I was so excited to try this formula. I never tried her old formula, and I was like kicking myself. All this time, while it's been sold out, I've just been waiting and waiting for them to re-release it. I went with Terrasol Light Medium, and I think it's going to be a beautiful bronzer when I am self-tanned. Today, it pulled a little bit warm, and it wasn't like my favorite shade, but I love the formula. So we'll see how this goes when I'm a little darker. So I would say maybe if you're in between or conflicted about what shade to choose, maybe go a shade down in this one, because I feel like it's very pigmented, and I don't know, I just felt like it was a little bit dark. Oh, you all have no idea how excited I was to try these. The YSL Make Me Blush in the shade 6 Rose Haze. The packaging, I just had to have it. And the shade is what got me in this formula. So all of the shades that came out when they first released this blush, they were just, something was off. Like, none of them were my favorite tone, or they were my favorite color, but they were in the satin formula. And I don't do satin highlighty blushes. I just don't. It just doesn't look flattering on my skin where I have texture right there on my cheeks. So I just know it's not for me. So I waited, and thank God I did, because they came out with the perfect color in the matte formula. Rose Haze. I'll try to do a little swatch here, but it's just a very sheer baby pink. You can barely even see it. Let me do a better swatch. Here you can see it's just like a baby nude pink. It just gives a nice flush of color to the cheeks, and I'm very happy with this shade. The next one is from Fenty Beauty. It's the Fenty Cheeks Suede Powder Blush in Baking Cakes. I've wanted this for a long time, and I just kept talking myself out of it because I thought the formula was going to be too shimmery or radiant. It's not. It's beautiful, and it actually does feel like suede when you touch it. So I'll put it here right beside Rose Haze, and you can see they're very similar. Baking Cakes is just a little bit more on the warm tone side, a little bit more peachy. They're both beautiful. No complaints with the blush. Definitely recommend both. I know the YSL is expensive, you guys, but if you want to treat yourself, go for it. It's so good. Next up, we have another dud. I'm going to recurl my lashes here in a minute to see if I can get this side to do what this side's doing on its own. But I wanted to try this new Benefit Bad Gal Bounce. I got a sample from Sephora, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to give it a go just to see if I could give you all a recommendation on it or not. So it comes out like this weird two-toned kind of wand. So you got one side that's like a classic, almost like the Better Than Sex from Too Faced, but smaller, but the same style hourglass-shaped wand. And then you come to this side, and it has more of like that Tower 28 kind of like rubberized bristle wand. And I tried both sides, and I just could not get it to work. It felt a little dry, the formula, and I wonder if it's just because it's a sample or not. So I'm not going to give this one a poor rating just solely because I'm not sure if it's just because it's a sample or if the full size would be that way too. But I just felt like it was a drier formula, and I did not like the brush. I could not get in there on my lashes and make them do what this side does. Okay. This is the Fenty Beauty Hella Thick Mascara. I highly recommend it. And the one that I'm using today is actually on the older side. It's almost time for me to open up my new one. But this is just a classic style wand, a beautiful formula. And when I use this product and recurl my lashes, it looks like I'm wearing falsies. It's so good. Highly recommend this one. This one, we're not sure about. Sorry. For powder foundation, I wanted to try the Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I purchased this not too long ago, and it was on sale on Sephora's page, so I wanted to try it. I went with the shade 230, and when you look at it in the pan, you think that might work, but it's actually pretty dark, and it looked a little too yellow on me, so I did not use this the way that I was intending to. Of course, I'll try this again in the future, but I was hoping to use it in this video and be able to recommend it for you because I've seen several people throughout the years say this is a great powder foundation, but it just didn't work out because of the shade. I used the One Size Turn Up the Base Versatile Powder Foundation in the shade Light 2N. This is a repurchase because I love this so much. I just use it to kind of carve out underneath of my bronzer and just to kind of touch everything up and just finish everything off. Use it more as a finishing powder. It's stunning. Hands down, I would recommend this, especially if you have oily, textured skin. For my lips today, I have the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Wherever Walnut. I decided to use this because it's got that like mauve purple tone to it, and I've recommended these forever, so yes, if you can get one, get it. If you need a good lip liner, this one's really good option. This is the Fenty Beauty High Shine Glossy Lip Balms, I think is what it's called. I can't read this small little thing, but the shade is Blazed Donut. Now, I love the packaging. It's super nice and weighted packaging, and I love the product, but I was a little thrown off by the shade, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the swatches online, let me show you. I mean, it's pretty dark. I won't say it's like a really dark lip, but it's way darker than I thought it was going to be. I was actually scared to buy that because I thought it was going to be too light and a little bit too ashy on my skin tone, but have no fear. It's way darker than I thought. What I did is I put this on and I was like, I don't know, it's a little dark for me. I usually like a little bit lighter of a lip. So I wanted to try the Tarte lip mask on top just to see what I thought of it and to see if it would alter the shade any and lighten it up, but it really didn't. So I was just going to show you like reapply. It really doesn't add anything to the look because the gloss stick from Fenty is already very shiny on its own. I'm happy with it. I just thought it was going to be different. So I do recommend it, but that's the lightest shade, just so you know. I didn't have a brow pen from Sephora to recommend today, so I just used my NYX, but I used to have the Glossier Brow Flick. If you can get that from Sephora, it is a really good brow pen. I just ran out of mine, but I would recommend that if you're looking for one at Sephora. But NYX is better, so just say it. The other mascara that you all know I love is the Lancome Lashy Dole. I use that on my lower lashes, and as you can see underneath of my long lashes, I have a lot of creasing going on, so I tried to use my Uma Beauty powder, which is like my holy grail powder, to fix the situation. I think it helped a little bit, but there's just some things this can't handle, and that would be the Say Slip Tint Concealer, in my opinion. It's just a no. I forgot to mention these earlier, the Dew eye patches. They're the Forever Eye Mask. They're reusable. I used them today, and I love them. Oh, and I also use the Damn Matcha Boost Eye Serum, and what I usually do is just put a little bit of this on and then pop these on. I'll try to throw it in here if I can, but that's what I usually do. Go ahead and finish my skincare, finish my hair, self-tan, whatever, and just let these sit, and I love it. So I still have a lot of new products to test out, but they weren't really Sephora recommendations, so I'm going to save them for a future video. I'm so excited to try out the new MAC foundation. I got the new formula of Studio Fix Fluid, but I also got their new formulation of the powder foundation. So that will be coming up really soon. I can't wait to film that. But for now, I'm going to sign off. That way I can get this up for you, and hopefully you can see this and make some decisions on if you want to buy anything on sale. Close up one more time so you can see everything, how it's wearing now hours later. I know technically this video is not all about the eyeshadow, but if you are curious, Divina Cosmetics has really good shimmer shadows, just so you know. That's all for today's video. I'm gonna blot just a little bit, go pick up my children's, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up before you leave and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you. Bye, guys.